like, wow, you asshole, like, what's your problem? So those kind of people just, they're very into themselves, it seems. So I don't want to deal with those type of people.
I get a lot of flack and I get a lot of hate in the comments from people like about anything in general, but in particular, the topic of animal abuse seems to come up over and over again. If you post that you drank a glass of milk or that you had an egg for breakfast, there is so much hate. Have you experienced the same thing in your own world?
Not very much. If I post about vegan, like if I do a vegan video, then maybe someone will like be upset about something that I said because I'm not going to be vegan. But occasionally I'll post like my food in my stories and they'll get upset. I'll talk about like dog abuse. And then like the other day I posted about dog abuse and someone slithered into my DM saying, if you really cared about animals, you would go vegan. And I responded, I said, well, I personally am never going to be vegan. And now this person's like constantly messaging me over and over. But for the most part, I don't. I've got vegan friends who are very normal and don't expect anyone to change their opinion about what they, what they believe in. But yeah, if I make a video about vegans, then I'll get like vegans running into my inbox telling me that I should be vegan and I'm murdering every single animal. And then I tell them
I know that my girlfriend, she went vegetarian. She's not vegan, but she used to eat a lot of meat. And we were talking about this before. I have like 16 animals in the house, and like we're doing a lot to help with animals. But because I eat meat, people are like, you are an animal abuser. How dare you do that? And you're a horrible human being. And it's like we were talking about this earlier in the video. Just because other people don't do as you do, it doesn't mean that they're doing the things that are wrong. Like you have that belief that that's abusive and I have this belief, doesn't mean you can't say one's right and one's wrong.
Well, I feel like with this, like it's just with any of like the extremes in any group, you have to say exactly what they want to hear or they're just going to be upset. So whenever they come at me like that, I'm just like, you know what? You're right. You got it right. You know everything about me.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost not worth even arguing. I mean, I've got a cookbook out. I've got like animal recipes. Obviously, I have a lot of vegan recipes. I'm working on a vegan cookbook, the whole thing. And it's like, no, you're abusive because you had Greek yogurt. And it's like, there's no winning these kind of arguments. So sometimes,
and it's even funnier when I like look at like, just we're using vegans as an example for now, but this is with any group. But when like a vegan isn't vegan enough for the other vegan and they start like battling each other about who's the better vegan, it's very odd. So I just don't even fight with them.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a contest or a battle that you can win. I mean, there's nothing I can say that will convince that person otherwise. So why should I even say it? And I get a lot of hate sometimes because I oftentimes make videos about people that are going against me or saying something bad. So then when somebody says something bad about me and I don't make a video, they're assuming that's because that person's right or that they won. I'm like, yeah, but I get 10 videos a day sent about people speaking negatively. I can't do a video on every single person. They want me to. And I think at this point, it's almost they're doing it on purpose, hoping that I will, in fact, do a video. So doing the response video gives them so much more attention, which is what they want, that at this point, it's like, it's silly for me to really go and speak out against people who are attacking me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like that. I think I see that in the comment section. Sometimes, like usually I'm very like active on my Instagram, but sometimes I'm just like, there's no winning this argument because whatever I say, it's not, you just want the attention at this point. You don't want to have like an actual conversation. You just want the attention. So I'll just let you think whatever you want to think.
And how many comments do you read? Like you're getting a lot of DMs. I mean, you got almost 500,000 followers, which is a lot. And I mean, how do you have the time to like say, do your work, do your editing, get through everything, including interacting with people and learning? Like, what do you do? How do you deal with that?
I have a very set schedule. So if I post a video, I usually will read comments within the first hour and then I have to like just be done because I can be on there forever just conversing with people. And then on Instagram, I made a rule that I can only be on Instagram if I'm on the treadmill. So
well, that's a good way to get your cardio in.
Yeah, to get more cardio in. So then like, my steps have been really high just because I like being on Instagram. And then with everything else, I just try to like make everything scheduled. So I have my phone timer. So if I have like an hour to edit, and then if I'm sitting for an hour, then I need to go take a break and take my dogs for a walk, then come back, then I can edit for another hour, take another break, do something else.
And you ever notice you start writing somebody and they write you back and then you write them back and it's like this never ending spiral of like, how do I end this conversation? I don't want to be rude. Like a lot of people think like I don't answer everyone. Like imagine if I could, maybe
Yeah.
10%, maybe not even 10%. Like it used to be 10%, but like people think you're rude. Oh, you think you're too good for me. You're not writing back. And it's like, you can give me the
Well, those
biggest
kind of
compliment.
people, I think those kind of people that like that that just expect us to write back, and even if we do, they expect us to just keep going, are very entitled people, and I don't deal with people like that. Like I personally have written other YouTubers saying, "Hey, I like your videos." They never write me back. I'm not gonna like DM them again and be like, "Wow, you asshole! Like, what's your problem?" So those kind of people just they're very into themselves, it seems. So I don't want to deal with those type of people.
Yeah, I've seen my girlfriend she'll sometimes she'll get heated on something really offends her, like she gets really upset, and then she'll post like an Instagram story, and then she'll get like 500 messages, and she has to answer every one. Like it's almost a disorder, in my opinion. Like she literally thinks if I don't write them back, then they'll hate me, and I'm like, babe, you can't. You have too many people. Like imagine if she came like super famous or something, she'd have like 5,000 comments. It would be like there's no
And
end in sight.
no matter what, someone's gonna hate her anyway. Even if you don't respond, they're still gonna like not like you for some reason that they decided.
Yeah, you can even respond, and it's like, oh, you just said thanks. That's it. Where's my heart emoticon?
I know,
Where's my smiley face? So you can't win. And as soon as you write them back, then they write back, and it goes on and on. But even people trying to write me, they write her and say, "Tell Greg this," and it's like she can't be the relayer of all the messages. You have to have somewhat of a life. But I've seen her spend like 2 or 3 hours a day just answering
no, that's a lot. No,
on Instagram.
I'll get messages of people trying to contact you or Obese to Beast and like being like, Michelle, Greg didn't listen to my DM, or Obese to Beast didn't listen to my DM. You need to make a video about them. I'm like, no, I don't need to do anything. I'll make videos about whatever I want to make videos on.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. Like, I can't believe they're actually writing about like, he didn't respond to me. Make a video on him saying he's an asshole.
Obese to Beast made a video about someone being upset at him that he didn't like respond to their message again, and they had a video suggestion, and then they screenshotted those messages, sent it to someone else, and this like other YouTuber exposed Obese to Beast for not like staying true to what he believes. Something weird that they decided to spin. Wow. It was very odd. And like, this is why people don't like respond to people's messages, because you guys take it to a whole nother level just because you want a response.
Yeah, so that pretty much wraps up my questions. I was curious, do you have any questions for me while we're here? Is there anything that came to mind while doing these questions that just jumps out?
Yeah, something did come to mind, and then I just forgot about it. So I know I had a question. Oh yeah, actually, I want to talk about, because like we're very similar in the sense, actually, with your girlfriend. Not sure about you. I'm sure you're probably similar because you're with her. But I watched her video on not wanting kids and not wanting to get married. Why don't you want to get married?
You want to know if I want to get married?
Yeah, or why don't you, or do you want to get married?
I was really indifferent. It was more like if that was something that she wanted, that I would do it. But she's already been married in the past, so she's already experienced that. So it's really not a big deal. And I never had that as a dream. Like when I was growing up, I never thought in my head, oh, someday it'll be a marriage. And really, to me, I see marriage as like a piece of paper. It doesn't mean as much as anything else. I mean, when you're living with somebody, you have animals and all that stuff. Like I feel like it's just as, I guess, meaningful as having that piece of paper where, what is it, 50 or 60% of marriages end in divorce. So how is that any more meaningful than not getting? I just don't think that it just doesn't mean anything to me at this point. It's not like, oh, wow, I'm married now. That changes everything. I feel like you should have the same mindset or outlook pre-marriage as after marriage.
Same, similar. Yeah, that's what I was telling my boyfriend, because he was asking when we first met, and I was like, if we have a good relationship, we have a good relationship. I'm not sure what a piece of paper and a wedding party, a very expensive party, is gonna do to the relationship, minus give us pretty pictures on Instagram.
Yeah, and speaking of this, we just went to a wine tour, literally, and there was a lot of wine being drank, and all the couples were kind of like, no one, like, weren't married, and they were like, but we want the hardware. So I think that these girls, they all want the nice ring, but no one really wanted the wedding. And one of our friends was engaged for 6 years, and they're not married. So it's kind of like, I think they want the ring.
I think that's like, when I talk to my friends, that's what they're very like keen, like they want that ring. It's like a status symbol so that they can, walk around with the ring. So it's not my thing.
Yeah, I mean,
anyway.
Like I don't even have a watch, like a ring. Right? You know what I mean? Like, so it doesn't mean much to me, but if she wanted a ring, I can get a ring. It's not that big a deal.
No, and then it was funny because everybody in our neighborhood thinks that we're married, and then they just discover, like, because I was talking to like a lot of the housewives in the neighborhood, and I was like, yeah, me and my boyfriend. They're like, oh, you're not married? I'm like, no, you guys just thought that we were, so I went with it. If that's what you guys can think that we're married, do you need like no one needs like my papers? Who's gonna ask for like papers if you're married or not?
Yeah, I mean, I've read a lot of comments saying like your wife and this, and I'm like, they don't realize we're not married, but I don't even correct them because like there's
it doesn't matter. Yeah, I never correct people. I'm just like, okay, whatever.
And what about kids? Like for me and Al, like basically for me, I'm like, if you really wanted to have a kid, I would have one, but I'm not really like, oh, I need to have a kid. So what about you? Is there any plans?
No, I've never really wanted children at all. I'm like that. I don't think that pregnancy is like the most beautiful thing just because I've seen pregnancy. I've seen like birth. So it's never been like a thing on my list. Plus I was a nanny for years. So I just know you work for like 10 hours and then I get to go home as a nanny. If you're a mom, you work for 10 hours and you've got, 14 more hours to go.
Yeah. I mean, I was a school teacher for 11 years. So, I mean, they were like between 4 and like 19 or so, but I felt like I was around kids my whole life and it never made me want them more. I mean, I like kids. I like teaching. They had good times, especially the young ones, like in gym class where I taught in a class in the gym, but like a 5-year-old in the gym class having fun, like that's like, it's like being Santa Claus every day. You go into kids and hang out, but it still never made me want to be like, I need to have a kid like really bad. I never had that feeling. And she never had the same feeling. So I'm like, it is what it is. We're happy without.
We're very much into our dogs. We want like one more. And then
dogs and cats. How many animals do you have at home?
We have 2 right now.
Are you searching for more?
We might get one more just because I have a really small Chihuahua and he wants to play with all the other dogs, but he can't because he's so small. So I want like another little tiny Chihuahua.
Yeah, Chihuahuas are great. We actually, the only reason we don't have more animals is because I'm like, we can't have more animals. Like, right? She wants a goat. She wants a house goat.
Oh, she wants a goat?
Yeah. I mean, we already got a pig. She wants a goat. She was watching that Dana Lynn Bailey had a goat and she saw that. And then she's like, I want a good goat too. I'm like, babe, we need to have a limit. Like we have enough animals. Plus we're fostering animals.
Where do you board? Like, does the pig just have free range of the house?
Free reign in the house.
Oh, wow. Oh, lucky animals.
Oh yeah. They can do everything they want. So
yeah, I have like gates all over my house. My dogs know the bathroom's outside. Otherwise I'd go crazy.
Yeah, some of the animals can go outside. Some have their pee pads and their different pads. And I'd say probably 5 messes a day that aren't on the pad that have to be cleaned up. So, I mean, it's a lot. And if we get, a goat, and then where does it end? After the goat, it's going to be a horse. It's not like in the house, probably. Like it's just getting out of control.
Yeah, once you have a goat, you have a farm and you might as well just keep adding more animals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you guys have a backyard?
We have one, but it's not very big. And there's a lot of neighbors around. It's like, I don't know, 30 feet of grass by like 80 feet or something. Like it's not a big backyard. Yeah. It's not enough to like go out there with a zoo, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering though, because I saw your girlfriend's question and answer video about children and marriage, and I was working out, so I was like half listening, and then I heard her say, "Oh, I don't want kids." I'm like, oh, that's me.
Yeah, and she owns a pet store, so it's a lot easier for us because she has all food and stuff available, and she's like, she knows about animals the way I know about like nutrition and lifting weights. Like it's her thing. Oh, cool. Spends all day doing that, so obviously she knows what to do. And
so she does own a pet store. I thought like a thing that you guys said, as in like you guys have like a pet store at your house because you have so many animals.
Oh God, no. She has like a Pet Value franchise. She had that before I met her. She actually moved to Nova Scotia from Toronto just to own the store. So she loved it that much to travel out, to travel 1,000 miles just to open up a store. So
do people get upset at her for owning a pet store? Because I know like with some animal people, they get mad about like zoos and pet stores and whatnot.
She's never had any problems like that, except for she does get some flack for fostering animals. People have hated on her because like we just recently got, I don't know, like 150 animals from another country flown in. And then people are like, you're helping animals from other countries when there's animals in our own country that need help. And it's like an animal's an animal,
Yeah,
regardless of the
right.
country's in. So there are haters that still talk about that kind of thing, which is just sad to see.
No, that's weird. It's just like when someone decides to like adopt a child, but they go to another country and adopt a child, people get upset because there's kids here. People can do whatever they want. At least they're helping,
Yeah.
you know,
They're helping
something.
someone, an animal, a person, like who cares? Like you're helping. How can you hate on someone that's trying to help someone?
Yeah.